Welcome. You okay? You're like you've just seen
Yeah.
a ghost. You've seen a ghost.
No, man. I've seen a beautiful man on my screen, isn't it?
Oh,
No,
Dodie.
yeah.
Right, guys, welcome in.
Mate,
I'm Boozy.
why didn't you just accept the compliment? That was such an awkward silence, man. Why did you make that so awkward? Why couldn't you just, mate? What are you doing now, bro? What are you doing, man? Mate, right? Listen, if anyone listening back, right, who's not fucking seeing this, right? We were actually bang on time, right? And I always say to Thomas, you're always eating like on stream podcast, right? Right. So, bro, eats before. How have we started and man's fucking eating again? Like, what's going on here, man? What the fuck is going on? Like, you're a mess. You are a fucking mess, man.
It's tradition.
Straight up. Yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 24th episode of IVG, the podcast about Pokemon, beer, and everything in between with myself, Joshua, himself, Thomas. We are your hosts for today. I'm just by time while man just fucking scans those strawberries like he's eating arse. But I'm excited to get into this episode. But beer first, because I'm buzzing for this one. We are drinking the Cream Egg of Vault City. This thing is a beast. This is 14%.
Hey?
Yeah, this is 14%. 14 fucking percent.
Right,
man.
well, before you fucking get into that, guys, this podcast is solely for entertainment purposes. We do not advocate overconsumption or use of alcohol, and we certainly do not promote binge drinking. All guests have the choice whether they wish to consume alcohol or not, and it is their responsibility to drink responsibly.
Ooh.
You like it?
Thomas, what? I fucking tried it yet, you can't.
No, you just went, no, you can't, because you went, oh, so like, I don't know, I thought it did a thing.
No, that was just me staring at your battery. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but that is a dark beer if I've ever fucking seen one, mate. That is a dark beer. Mate, tell us what you drinking tonight. What are you drinking?
Level Head Session IPA.
Those ones that you fucking nicked from work.
No, they weren't, Nick. They were giving us a gift.
You're moving up in the world as well. You've actually got a glass today as well. You normally drink them out of a can, though. I swear, whenever we podcast, you're always like drinking out of a can, no?
I've had this. Nah, man. Listen, sometimes you got to cater to the nitties, and you know.
Man, you got to put the balls in to make it work.
Yeah,
Chin, man.
Chin. Right.
Oh, she's a boozy one. Oh, she's a boozy one.
Speaking of level head, let's see if Josh keeps a level head when we get into today's topics.
Mate, look at us, mate. So much is pay us already, man. Get us in. No, yeah, I think there's only really one theme of today's episode. So me and Thomas and Joe as well, we've been talking about this in our group chat for I feel like for the longest time now. Like, it's constant. And, you know, we just want to kind of put those feelings out into the world, you know, see if anyone else is kind of feeling the same way about Pokemon Go at the minute. You know, I mean, you know, just to really get into it, I don't like the direction the game is going at the minute. Every fucking event basically requires some kind of paid content to kind of enjoy the event, and it just should not be like that. And I don't know why it's ended up like that, but it seems like this next month is fucking brutal for it.
Yeah.
Right. We were talking about this literally yesterday. Says what? There's Gmax Butterfree on Sunday coming.
Yes.
And then the next Sunday
you got the 6 hour Origin Form raid day of Palkia and Dialga.
Yeah. Right, and then the weekend after, is it the weekend after that?
Weekend after that is the 16th to 17th. Obviously, it's the World Championship event, but it's it's the Shadow Kyogre raid weekend. Which is a bit more
after that,
a bit more flexible anyway.
Yeah, and after that is the Go Fest finale, which is kind of like I guess like the biggest issue. With it. You know, it's fucking expensive to play this game, man. It's fucking expensive.
I thought this month was supposed to be, you know, like after Go Fest, it's sort of quiet afterwards. That's what we were all saying. Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be quiet. We're not going to have to, you know, pump a load of money in terms of passes, incubators, however it is you want to grind and play the game. It's worse.
Literally just like, yeah, it's arguably the worst that it's ever been. I guess, so okay. So where do we kick this off? Let's start with the Ultra unlock, because this is kind of like really like grinding my gears for quite a while now, basically since GoFest. So for anyone who's unaware, during Global GoFest, they normally park some kind of challenge, like a community challenge, and it might be catching Pokemon or great throws, excellent throws, so on. And if you meet the targets, you get these Ultra unlocks.
Man said if, when that target gets met, yeah,
it always happens.
Not when did I ask, when it happens, yeah.
And the big problem is, there's really nothing Ultra about them. To get the most out of this raid weekend for Palkia Dialga, you have to spend money. You get 5 free passes, right? Which, on paper, sounds good. But then this is the kicker. In the blog post, they may have the chance to have their legacy moves. That's bollocks, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what the fuck are we doing? So, realistically, if you are a free-to-play player, or you missed the Go Tour where it was available, you may not have a Palkia or Dialga with their legacy move, Spatial Rend, for all of time. Very, very good moves. The adventure effects, they're really good in PvP. They're good for PvE. They're all on good moves. You cannot obtain it with a TM. You cannot obtain it with an elite charge TM yet. Only way you can get it is through these raid weekends, and it's only a May chance. Like, that's bollocks. So hypothetically, if you are a strict free-to-play player, if you do your 5 free raid passes, you still may not have one with the move if you're unlucky.
It's bad. That's bad.
It's bad. Like, it's bad.
That is so bad.
And there's no reason for it. And this is what I mean. Like, it's not an Ultra unlock because it's a raid Pokemon. They're going to come back eventually anyway. So, like, what's Ultra? And then the kicker is they've now made it a 6-hour raid day, right?
Yeah, convenient. Now, very convenient.
Yeah. Now listen, I'm not the smartest fucking tool in the shed, right? But 5 free passes for 6 hours? Yeah, the math ain't mathing, right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
even with the paid ticket on the normal raid days, you used to be able to. You got more with the paid ticket, you know, than you do for like. There's I don't know if they're probably gonna have some sort of ticket for this, you know. Yeah. You know what they're like, but the math doesn't seem to be mathing.
Yeah, but then the paid ticket to get the most out of the event requires us to pay to play it. So where's the Ultra in this? Like, what's fantastic about it? Like, all you're doing is you're price locking your fans out of it because they're not fans, they're customers.
Yeah, the Ultra unlock is we've unlocked this event. Yeah. That's it. That's literally it. We've unlocked the opportunity, you know, the chance to maybe, or, you know, there's a chance that you may get these exclusive moves. That's all we've unlocked.
It's horseshit, man. Like, that should not be a thing, right? Just give us, like, I don't know, like, make it seem like you care. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, give us fucking 50 free raid passes. Like, give us
within reason,
10, right? Give us 10 free passes, right? Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing, right? Because, so obviously, like, me and Thomas, we're very aware that we play the game very differently to others. Yeah. But, like, I'm not being funny. 5 free passes to us is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? That's gone.
That gets done in like 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's done. And then, so that's our Ultra of the Ultra unlock. And the rest of it is we then get to give Pokemon Go money for the next 5 hours, 40 minutes, right? Like, it makes no sense. And the problem is, and I will stand by this. So if they did 10 free passes, for example, right? 10, right? I think 10 is a good amount, in my opinion. I think 10 would be good.
It's a nice round number, yeah.
What you then do then is people, like locals in the community have been dedicated enough time where they've cleared a schedule to use those passes. They're then more likely to buy more.
Yeah.
Right. Because they've cleared a certain amount of time to do it. Right. 5 free passes is going nowhere. Right. They're literally going out. Right. While the other half like cooking dinner. Right. Or lunch. And then they're going, right, that's me done. I'm off. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're from five free passes. Let's be realistic here. You're most likely not getting a shiny of each.
Yeah.
Realistically, right? Like we know that. And the fact that it's only a chance to have the special move, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, just do better. And the thing is the answer is dead simple, right? During this event, during this time window, you can use a TM on ones you have to get the move. What?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Or just say Pokemon caught between, you know, this event and obviously then if you end up remote raiding different countries, we'll get the move. Same way, like when they introduce moves into raids for like a certain amount of time. I don't see why, because then the only thing you're seeking, hunting / grinding for is an IV. You're not like, oh shit, that's a hundo. So excited, initial excitement. Hold on, wait, let me lock in. Caught it. Oh fuck, it ain't got the move. What's the fucking point?
I got the move. Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, but then,
all that excitement to be brought down back to earth.
Yeah, it's the thing, and you know the thing is, so when I talk about these things, I try and see both sides. So in my general sort of understanding of the game, locals don't really care about getting a good one, so to speak. They only want a shiny or one with an exclusive.
They want something want something to keep that looks nice, a cosmetic, or they want something to trade maybe for a better version of the cosmetic or a different.
So you know. But to call it an Ultra Unlock, it's shambles.
Ultra horse shit, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, they do it every fucking year. They do it. Every year they do it. And it's honestly, it's fucking boring. It's so fucking boring, right? So, like, realistically speaking, I think in Woolwich, in my local community, I think we're going to be able to do probably about 120 in 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
Which listen, right? Don't get me wrong. I love to grind. I do, but like, you're asking a lot of fucking money from local players, right? Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? And it's like, what is Ultra about that? Like, okay, cool. So 115 of those are paid.
Yeah.
5, like the maths just like the maths don't math. You know
it's
what I mean?
very extortionate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then. On top of that, they then say, oh, but you can buy a paid ticket for free passes. Well, they're not free because you've paid for them. Like, just don't be. It is just boring. And honestly, like I said, if they would have come out and said, during these event hours, you can TM your Origin form, Palkia, Dialga, get the move. Quality.
Or even, do you remember what they did for the Go Tour? I don't know if they do it just because it's a raid weekend, but for the Go Tour, it was you got to choose between Palkia and Dialga. You picked your path, and the ones that so then that way, because there may be some people not interested in Dialga. Yeah. The move's basically the same, Draco and Roar of Time in terms of PvP, except 1 debuffs. I want to focus on Palkia because that's a strict upgrade on Draco Meteor. So they can pick Palkia, and then the Palkies they do are more like I don't even understand why they haven't done that. That's at least like a happy medium without, you know, sort of giving everyone everything, which I think they should anyway. But that would be like a nice happy medium. I don't think anyone would argue with that.
It's just drives, and the thing is, like it's going to be taken wrong, but I can only just say it like blunt, like not to sound like entitled, but. That's like we get nothing from Pokemon Go. Like literally, we get nothing. Like for anniversary events, we get paid fucking tickets. Yeah. Right. We don't get anything worthwhile. Like change the system up. Right. Like in the store that the daily free box. I've not claimed it in months. It's not worth a wank. What's it worth? Nothing. Some good shit in there.
All I end up doing is like you end up bidding Pokeballs and berries just to get Pokeballs and berries back, just so I can, just so it leaves my fucking screen. I even, you know, like it's. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we need we need a revamp in the system where we're not marketing things as ultra fucking awesome, wicked cool. You work so hard to unlock the ability for this, and then go, oh yeah, but you are going to have to pay to to make anything from it, because like, mate, purely based on shiny odds alone. So raid days for legendaries are what, 1 in 20,
1 in 21, 1 in 20, yeah.
Right. 5 passes ain't fucking doing that math, brother. Right?
You'll get the locals that'll be like, I've done my 5 raids, no shiny. They're unhappy. Obviously, they've not technically raided enough to sort of meet the sort of demands and the odds of getting a shiny. But why haven't they raided enough? Because you fucking priced them out. So one wouldn't happen without the other. So
like, and this is the thing, like, people don't have the fucking money to throw it like that.
Yeah.
Apart from certain people in the community. But for the general population of the game, like, you're asking a lot of fucking money, right? Like I said, so hang on, let me quickly run some maths. So in Woolwich, I think we'll do like 120, right?
How many shinies would you expect to get from that? So if you're meeting the odds, because I know people are talking about it in the chat. Well, you expected to get 6 if the odds are accurate. You might get more, you might get less. Like, obviously they're odds, they're not guarantees, but that will be the sort of flip side argument. If a local's raided, I've not got a shiny, I've done so many raids. How many raids you done? I've done about 6 or 7. I'm like, well, you've not done enough in theory, so that sort of debunks that. But then, like I said before, there's a reason that they've only been able to do 6 or 7.
Plus, I should disclose, I'm fully aware that when I say 1 in 20, it doesn't mean every 20 you do, you're going to get one, right? Because I know that's not how odds work.
No.
But, I'm talking purely like in a hypothetical world where if you do 20 raids, one of them is going to be shiny, right?
Yeah.
But so, like I said, so I'm doing the maths here. So to do 120 raids, which like I say, I think we will do, right? You would need to buy 40 of the 3 premium pass bundles, 250 coins each, 10,000 coins. 10,000 coins for a raid day, right? So
sorry, I missed the first. Was that 40 of the just a specific raid pass bundles?
Yeah. Pure straight up just raid pass bundles.
Okay.
Right, and the only way you're getting the coins for that is buying 2 of the 5,200 Pokecoins. That's £80. £80.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be an ultra unlock.
Or if you about £80, or if you get it depends on what box you have in store, but you can't always rely on that. So if you end up spending, if you want 2 lots, like 2 big lots, you could end up spending close to 100.
But then the thing is as well, and to be fair, something that I've been trying to push in my community is about buying the correct boxes.
Yeah.
Because you'd be very surprised how many people just straight up just buy like
box
individual.
Nice. Yeah.
No,
items. No bundles.
Yeah. Not even boxes. Like, they'll just buy like the 3 passes on their own, for example.
No, I don't think I've ever done that. I've done it for remote. Yeah. I'd say the only items that I buy the ones that are not in boxes. No, I don't. I'll get lucky eggs because I'm whore for XP, and fucking what's the other thing I buy? Remote raid passes, because there's no specific bundle for them. Other than that, I can't think of any other items that I need to buy that aren't already in a box, or you don't already get enough of on the fucking research.
But like I said, so sorry for a little tangent, but so realistically, what is ultra about this ultra unlock event?
The profits. Ultra profit. Ultra stonks.
And the thing is, because we know how Pokemon GO works, these mons are coming back to raids anyway. At some point down the line, they're coming back to raid. Yeah. Right? So you're not actually gaining anything from it. You're just gaining the ability to give them money.
And regardless of the format and everything, if we unlocked something new, what if we unlocked new? So their thing will be like, we've unlocked fucking, what's my man's name? The sword that broke the game for a bit. The fucking Honedge and all that. That's all like new. It's like, bro, those sorts of events, like, we shouldn't have to unlock those personally. Eventually, you have to introduce them into the game anyway.
Yeah, it's all horseshit. So I've just got here, right? an idea for the Ultra Unlock, right? So have the raid day, but then give us a time for research that guarantees five of the mons. So you don't have to raid them, so you can play wherever you are in the world.
That have the move. Similar with Com Day. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Simple. And then, if from there you then want to go out and do the raid day, that's completely optional. Completely optional. But that, like, we can't be marketing shit as an Ultra Unlock when you're literally giving us the ability to pay you money. It's like, it's, and it sucks, man. It fucking sucks. It's like, the thing is, it's just the dynamic of the game because if you remember the 2019
we spoke about this off stream with the instinct when it was all team based.
But those first Ultra Unlocks, right? They were all raid days for legendary beasts, like brand new in the game, right? And it was the first time, so it was like, oh, okay, like it's cool. But like every year, it's the fucking same, man.
I remember that year. The way they went about it was cool as well. They would update how things would go, and it would feel like it would actually feel like something rather than nowadays it's stat where it's not teams, but it just feels like it's just stat padding. You're just seeing who stat pads the most and who spends the most. Because if I do one and you do 101, we're still going to end up unlocking this event.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, so the whole Ultra Unlock thing, like. I don't know. You're just like it's part of the big problem, and the biggest problem in Pokemon Go right now is monetization. Everything is fucking monetized, and it's monetized so fucking heavily that literally I think it is borderline impossible to be a free-to-play player.
There's no real reward. What do you get out of you can only do so much when you're physically being gatekept where physically something's behind an actual paywall. You can free to play as hard as you want. If something's behind a paywall, you ain't gonna break that wall without footing the bill.
Right. And the thing is, right, I know people say, oh, but you get 50 free coins. Shut up, man. That's nothing. That's fucking nothing, right? Right? You have to get 50 coins for 5 days to do 3 raids. And if you live in in a high traffic area, right, you probably ain't getting your 50 coins a day. Straight up. It's just you know what I mean? It's not happening. Or if you live in a rural town, you're not getting knocked out of the gyms enough to fucking get your coins, right?
And then that's when people start. It goes down a different avenue when people start, doing Monka TOS things in order to make it work because the current design of the game doesn't work for them.
Yeah, it's just the whole Ultra Unlock, man. And don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna go out and host with the local community and help out, whatever. But saying an Ultra Unlock, when you really break it down into black and white, you've unlocked the ability to give them money for 6 hours of raids.
Yeah. Why is it? Why is this one 6 hours and none of the others have been 6 hours?
Right. But the thing is, it's obvious, right? It's blatantly obvious. It's a cash cow. It's so fucking obvious, right? There's no reason for it to be 6 hours, right?
The last time it was 6 hours, I remember, was Lucario, and everyone went mad for it. Not necessarily because it was Lucario, but because of the bonus, the XL candy bonus.
It was only 6 hours because there was an error, right? So they extended it.
What, Lucario?
Yeah, it was only meant to be 3 hours. Do you remember? And then there was an error across the early time zone, so they extended it.
Oh, fair enough. But they put this one as 6 hours, and then when you catch the Dialga and Palkia, I don't know if it's a May, everything's a maybe at this point, but it's supposed to drop a Rare Candy XL, so they know that will incentivize people even further. But
again, right, you're paying for the Rare Candy XL.
You are, yeah.
That's what you're doing, right? You're paying for it. And again, the problem with that is, right, again, something else they could add in. Give us an increased catch rate because, okay, cool, all well and good, right? But, maybe for myself, I don't care about Dialga Palkia. I've got hundos of both, right? I want the Rare Candy XL. But you're telling me I can pay, do a raid, defeat it, and then it can run away, and then I lose the rare candy XL, which was the
Yeah.
only thing that I was actually after. Like, come on, man! Like we need to be stepping up the game. Like, we're turning over fucking billions and billions of dollars profit here. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Well,
throwing in a few bonuses.
the way that they
will
market it though
kind
is
of
weird.
soften the blow of. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say the way they market raids is weird because obviously once you get your initial rewards, in their eyes that's it. Because then it's supposed to be that the encounter's a bonus. Like that's the way it comes across. So you've got the candy, the XP, the Stardust, and then the encounter's supposed to be a bonus. So that's why if your raid was to crash, and you get the XP, the Stardust, we'll say accredited because that seems appropriate at the minute, accredited to your account, and it's like, I didn't get the encounter. Well, they're not going to take the Stardust and the XP from you. It's like, I see that you've completed the raid, whether you've caught it or not.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't care because they know for a lot of people it's like, go through support, get another pass, but even it could just still happen again. Like the whole raid model is just a bit fucked. Everything from raid hours to raid days are just fucking shit at the minute.
Yeah, it is kind of outdated. It is outdated, but like, but then it's an ongoing problem now, and I guess it kind of moves on. It kind of moves on nicely to the next segment. It's just like the pure just over saturation of events. Like there's something going on every fucking day of the week.
It makes my calendar look great. It looks like I'm really busy. Like I had someone round earlier like to do, and then I was just my calendar. She's like, "Fucking hell, you got a lot of things in your calendar." I'm like, "Yeah, like some of it's work, some of it's to Mrs.'s stuff, which is usually work anyway." And then it's like, it's just so I know when these events are on. So like, I feel like we've done this before, but we'll just do it again for those that may be new to the podcast or are listening back or may have missed it initially. But if you were to go a typical week in Pokemon Go. Monday, Max Mondays. There's currently no raw incentive to do a Max Monday because all it is increased, density and, they're at power stops. You don't get anything out of it in terms of like free stuff to incentivize you to go out and play Max Monday. If I had to hazard a guess, it's probably the least played event because Monday's a really crap day anyway, which is obviously why they've put it on there. Tuesday, you've got Spotlight Hour, which I think is probably one of the better events because you got a bonus there. You've got increased, spawns of specific mons. So if you want to grind a specific mon, and it turns up in a Spotlight Hour, it's there. If you want to grind, if you're not bothered about the mon and you've got the Stardust that you're looking out for, the XP, maybe even catch candy, it's great. And so the first 2 days aren't too bad. Then you get to Wednesday, Raid Hour, which is essentially raid 50 minutes.
Raid 50 minutes.
Raid 50 minutes because, unless you get lucky with some of your stuff, and back in the day it was always annoying when stuff would, gyms would desync and you had to wait for this one. Nowadays it's a blessing because it means you can play a full hour uninterrupted and you don't have to stop halfway. So raid 50 minutes and you don't get anything from that either. Like you can use your free passes if you manage them correctly. You can do 2 raids for free, depending on the season bonus, maybe more. But that's still, there's no real. I think I spoke to someone about this the other day. Like, what's the need in doing raid hours? Whereas you could just go out and just commit a time and do raids. Because Wednesday midweek is, I don't know. For me, it doesn't work personally. But for other people, it might be great. But I feel like most of the time, people are more likely to raid on the weekend, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah,
go on, sorry.
I mean, it really does kind of depend. I feel like raid hour has been around so long now that I feel like for a lot of us, it's just kind of built into our schedules.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah. It's like on a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, it depends on where on where you live and the sort of community and your local area. Depends on how active they are, but yeah. So you're only on Wednesday at that point. Thursday, there's nothing typically happening. Thursday's usually when I'm trying to think what actually happens in game on a Thursday.
Nothing.
There's no GBL rotations. That's Tuesday now. Friday. Tuesday. What happens on Friday? Nothing really. I Boozy at 7:00. That's what happens on Friday.
That's it.
That's all you need to do on Friday.
Sorry, Tom, not to interject, but so guys, we normally don't interact with chat during this, but there's a first-time chat who replied to my tweet. So what we're talking about right now, like the theme of the episode, we're not complaining about stuff in the game. We're talking about how it's currently being over monetized and making it unaccessible for a vast majority of the community. That's what we're talking about. Because I feel like when you read the tweet, you probably thought we were just complaining about everything and anything. We're just talking about how the game is becoming less and less accessible for people that have played for a long time and want to continue playing. So, sorry, Thomas, carry on.
That's fair enough. So that takes it to, the next part of what I was saying. So you're at the weekend at this point, which is where, the bulk of the in-game events and bonuses and ultra unlocks in some cases, that's the bulk of where they happen. That's where most players are most likely to play because, if you're fortunate enough to have weekends off, you might go out. That's why I'd have community days on that weekend, raid days, max battle weekends. Yeah, it's one of them where, like you said, every weekend there is something. And if you're someone that works weekends, you're one of the unlucky bugs that's to work weekends, then, you're going to miss out. And, this fear of missing out, I know we'll probably dissect it a bit further later on in the episode, but it's one of those where you feel like, you don't know when it's going to come back again. They don't seem to have, Niantic, Scopely, whoever's at the wheel at the minute, don't seem to have a strict blueprint of what happens, because back in the day you used to be able to work out when a specific community day was. It's like, right, they've done this and that. Now you can sort of work out January is when the water starters, like just small things like that. There's no blueprint now at the minute because it's one of, they can just throw events, they'll just bombard you with events and they think more is better, and it's not.
But then the problem is that all these events have a paid aspect to them. Well, sorry, not all of them, but like 95% of them have a paid aspect. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that it's completely optional. But some of the bonuses that they give are, I guess, in quotation marks, too good to pass up on. As in, they make it worth doing. And, that just, I don't know, like, I just don't think that should be a thing because, if you kind of break it down in terms of monthly events and tickets, like for some people, like that's a lot of like £1.99 or $2 that going out like, potentially like twice a week, 3 times every 2 weeks, like, and that adds up, and I think we spoke about this before. I would like to see
that's the
kind of route if that's the kind of route they want to go down. Yeah, put down some kind of like subscription method where it's going to give an overall discount and then something on top of that, because then it just makes it more accessible to people that maybe don't have that money floating around two, 3 times.
I think it makes it more accessible, and I think also, right, as much as, so a lot of people, majority of the player base are free to play. If you have a subscription, then it sort of rewards, it will reward the people that have, spent more, because it's like, if you're paying a subscription and you're going to do these events anyway, that should be the incentive for you, to pay for the subscription package, because within that, right, it might have my Com Day ticket, it might have, like what is there? Fossil research. It might have fossil research or Hatch Day ticket. It might have a pass in it, like a Go Pass for the month, because that's the new sort of thing they've got going at the minute. The Go Pass and Deluxe Pass option. So yeah, it's one of them. Like obviously, like we've said, and we'll keep saying it again. You don't have to pay any money to play this game. The game in its essence is free. However, what we're trying to get across is the sort of frustrations that I feel a lot of people are, experiencing at the minute, because as much as, Josh will go out, I'll go out, we'll do raids, we've got premium green passes, we're in, us, we're sort of in a position of privilege where we're able to do that, but not everyone is able to afford and justify, spending X amount of money on this. But like Josh alluded to earlier, how do you, how is that making the game any more accessible for people? You need to sort of offset it by giving the free-to-play players and maybe the casual players, however you want to, paint it, give them a reason to go out. If it's 5 raids and a raid day is 6 hours, ultimately you want people to go out and play for as long as possible. That surely should be the MO. But for them, they don't really care, because it's like, right, it's 6 hours. I mean, there's no commitment to playing the 6 hours. Same with a com day.
No. Sorry, not to interrupt. Like, obviously, we are completely aware that like just because it's available doesn't mean you have to.
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, but like, as we said before, I feel like with a lot of players, especially sort of local players, for them to, they're not super invested in the game. It's like a little hobby that they maybe have, but they're not like super invested. Like, sometimes they do kind of dedicate parts of their day to go and do it, right?
Yeah.
So like 6 hours is a lot of time to dedicate to a hobby, realistically. And that's before you factor in, hey, this ultra unlock at 6 hours. Okay, great. I've made the time to play, but now I have to pay for the privilege to make the most of it. Like,
and I may not even get what I want out of it because you've made that inaccessible.
But then also, obviously you have to have like realistic expectations. Especially when it comes to like hundos. For example, which is like what is it? One in 214.
Is
that right from a raid?
That sounds vaguely accurate, but I couldn't.
It's something similar to that. I don't remember. But it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Just to address the chat. Yes, we were like this last year as well. There's no point in calling it an ultra unlock event when there's nothing ultra about it apart from you unlock the ability to pay them more money, and they give you 5 free raid passes and go, oh look, here you go. Like, it's just not like
Lucario I did with like, it was me and one other person that literally went round, because the vast majority of my community, I can tell you for a fact, they all stayed in the park near where I live, and done the raids that were rotating around the park. They can't afford to go round and do as many as me and Sammy did, literally, and we saved so much time by just obviously readying up and all that. But that's all besides the point. The point is that only a select few in communities are going to be able to
do that.
Afford, justify, see the event as something that warrants them spending a lot of money. Whereas, like, we're trying to speak for the broader audience, the broader player base. Josh alluded to it earlier. They're customers, essentially, because, after the free-to-play experience, how long's that going to last you? Like, you're not going to make a free-to-play experience last 6 hours. And for some people, that might be okay. They're only going to play an hour and go anyway, For some people, that's okay.
It's not doable. And, I think that's why, especially in my community, and obviously Tom has come down to my local community like a fair amount of times. Yeah. That's why after the events, we tend to like go for drinks and food together to kind of make it worthwhile the time that you've invested into the event.
Yeah.
Coming away from, the financial aspect, making it worthwhile of saying, right, look, after we're going to go here, we're going to get some drinks and food.
Yeah.
So then, even if, hey, maybe you don't want to put money into the game, but it's still then worth your time that you've made, because, you're doing something about it.
I think that's a big thing. That's what I was trying to get onto, and I was still stuck in the money conversation, if that's what we opened up the discussion with. I think having the time to be able to do it is something as well, because you could be minted, you could be like absolutely balling, but if you don't have the time to do it because of work and other commitments, it don't matter, because you could be willing to drop a bag on, some coins and raid passes and just go. If you don't have the time, then, but that could be a separate argument, because it's like, all right, they have it from 2 till 5 on a typical raid day. The raid weekends, they range from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So in theory, you should be able to find the time to do it. But
it's, but I mean, like I said, I think for me, especially with the ultra unlocks, I honestly think what I thought was a good idea, right? Give everyone 5 guaranteed encounters from a research, right? And all 5 of them have the move. And then if you then want to go and spend the money on the raid day,
Yeah, you
then
can. Yeah,
cool, that's up to you.
if you're in a
But
position
then
to
that
do
way,
do it, yeah.
you know, everyone is guaranteed to get one of these quite like meta relevant mons.
Yeah.
You know, with one of the moves, you know, which they maybe missed out on because during the Go Tour, you know, maybe they didn't have the money to invest into a mobile game to get what they want. You know, and you know, and then again during this Ultra Unlock event, just let us TM the move onto
Yeah,
our party.
there's
It's
no
not
reason we
difficult.
shouldn't be able to. The only reason we're not able
No.
to is because they want us to raid specifically to
Yeah.
get one with the
To
move,
try and
and
get
then to get one. There's so obviously with raids, I always felt like they release them in different ways. You can release them on debut mon, Palkia Origin, no move, no nothing, no shiny available, right?
Yeah.
Then it comes back, shiny available, no move, and then it comes back. With move, it's very unlikely that they'll revert to shiny being available, so it will come back with the mon, move, shiny. And I always feel like that in the past they were quite good at, I'm going to use the term recycling loosely, but they were quite good at rehashing events for players that may have missed them. I know there are people, I'm not going to use the word community because they ain't a community, they're pussies. In my local area, right, local trainers in your area, that obviously, they're waiting for certain things to come back. They're waiting for stuff like Zekrom. I'm talking about you, Kurt. They're waiting for stuff like Zekrom, Rayquaza, because they missed them. And I always felt like they're quite good at bringing them back. But there's no reason for them to not allow us to Elite TM a move, because they know there are people sitting on hundos of both Palkia Origin and Dialga Origin that if they if they were able to Elite TM, they may not go out on raid. That's why. That's the only reason it's like that.
You know, and the thing is, but by doing that, right, you then kind of make it worthwhile, right? So then you then go out, you do your 5 free raids for your raid passes, and then, if you don't then get the move that you want, you can still then get it from a TM,
Yeah. I was just going to type. Sorry to interject. I was just going to type it out, but I said earlier that being able to pick the path, the Palkia path and the Dialga path for the Go-To, I thought was a good way to do it, because then you're essentially tailoring the experience for you, because it's I'll ignore all the Dialga raids because I've chosen the Palkia path, and I could. They've not even done that. I feel like it's a happy medium. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's a happy medium. But the fact that we're not able to get them guaranteed, and we're supposed to have unlocked this event, we're supposed to have. Joe mentioned it. I was supposed to have raided, all week or all weekend or done whatever the global challenge was to unlock these events. But the events don't even guarantee the main thing. I feel like benefits a lot of players, whether they PvP, PvE, like adventure effects. They affect everyone. I hate using the word in the sort of definition, but like they're something that all players can benefit from.
Yeah, for definite, man. I completely agree, and I do want to preface, we're not just complaining for the sake of it,
I am. No, I'm joking, but yeah, we just want to make it.
Especially for me, I'm a very active member in my community. Myself and the other admins in my group, we work really hard to build a really active and just welcoming and good community, and a lot of them are just being priced out of the events, and it's not that they don't want to do them, they just can't fucking put money in, like that. And but then on the other foot, I think this is something that they need to rethink as well. With the push for community ambassadors, right? They expect community ambassadors to run communities. Fair enough. But that then costs them money, right? So on a raid day, for example, they expect the community ambassadors to be hosting meetups and do raids, but that's costing them money to do voluntary work.
Yeah,
right?
They're not getting paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I know why they don't, but in an ideal world, which won't happen because it will just get abused to fuck. For these events, community ambassadors should get extras. And before anyone says it, I'm not a community ambassador, so I'm not asking for it.
He's a hashtag community man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Community pussy.
I think community ambassadors, should get extra for themselves, for putting in the work, and because to me, it makes no fucking sense, right? You're doing voluntary work that's costing you money. Like, it makes no fucking sense. You know, I know. Well, Thomas, you obviously back me on this because you've been here. You know, like myself and the other sort of core admin group in my area.
Yeah,
we spend a lot of money to make these these weekends.
You, Tim, James, Dodie, Mike,
Dodie,
like
Mike.
you all put in a shift. To be fair, for what? Just so you can enjoy the game with other people. That's the in their eyes. That's the real prize. That's the real reward.
Yeah,
enjoying the game with the community.
And you've experienced it yourself. You know, we always make sure that whoever comes along, no matter what resources they have, we always make sure they can get what they've made the effort to come out for. But that still costs money. And it would be easy to turn around and go, "Nah, I'm done now. I'm going home. See you later." Not my problem. But that's not. I can only talk from my point of view, my perspective, of what I see. But that's not what we want for the game and the community.
No.
And I just think they need to not. I'm not asking for fucking charity cases,
millions
shit
of
like
freebies.
that. But
millions, because then millions of freebies would take away from the grind, and you don't want it to go too far the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think it kind of passes on nicely to sort of quality of life updates. I would like to see that maybe will change that. I'm going to go on a little rant, so just like other things, but quality of life updates, I would like to see that would maybe stop this, right? You should let us stack our daily battle pass, maybe up to 5 days, so you can have 5 free battle passes stacked up, so you don't have to use it every day.
Yeah, so you don't have to you don't have to, shit, I'm going to lose my pass, fuck, I have to go and do a stunky or a sizzle, Yeah,
you do it, I think that would really help with these kind of raid events. I think the max particle storage needs to be increased drastically.
That needs to go up.
But I think the particles you collect per individual stop should then decrease to kind of even it out. Because what's the current limit? 1,500 particles?
1,500, and you can collect, what is it? 900 from... Something like 900 a day from stops, or just 900 in general, or something like that.
It's something like that, right? Again, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense, right? Just let us hold more, because then during a Gmax day where it's it's then 800 particles per battle.
Yeah.
If you kind of play the system right, you can go over that 1,500. But you're only getting to do 2. Why is it not purely, for example, why is it not 5,000, for example? Because bearing in mind that these particles, they're actually a resource as well, because you need them to level up,
invest in stuff. That's all I can't tell you the last time I've done a Dynamax or I can tell you probably the last time I've done a Gigantamax. It was Lapras. Lapras was the last time, when it was the road trip event. Any particles I get, if I know I'm essentially going to lose particles, I invest in my max built tag. Even I've now got to the point I'm invested in Dynamax Machamp, so I don't lose particles. People be like, "Why are you invested in those? You've got Gmax." Yeah, I've invested in those already. I'm down bad on my list because there's no real reason for me to go out and do Dynamax Kabutos or Dynamax what's the other shit one? Shuckle.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not. Yeah. Just let's hold more. There's no downside to it. And the thing is, then from a business perspective, so say for example we have enough particles we can hold for 5 Gmax battles. Let's say purely for example, so you can hold 4,000, right?
Yeah.
You're then incentivizing people to then spend money in a way that I think is kind of more healthy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if you've done 5 Gmax and you've not got your shiny you want, you're then more likely to then spend money optionally, as opposed to, I've only got enough particles for the day, I can do 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm going home. I just think there needs to be that middle ground there. and 1,500 is just fucking. It's just so low.
It's a weird number.
It's
Why is it 15? Where have they got the 1,500 from?
And the thing is, obviously, I'm lucky that I've got our local group that is very active, and we've built a good reputation where people are now traveling from distances to come and join us. But like for smaller communities that are, have never been able to do a GMAX or really fucking struggle to do one, like upping that limit will incentivize people to actually go out and do more or invest the resources kind of more sparingly to be able to help.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's a downside to it, because I think there's the right and wrong way to monetize things, right? I think making it that way where, okay, I've had enough particles to do 5, I've still not got what I wanted, I'll drop like $5, and try another, to me that's okay, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to kind of be worthwhile in that aspect, right?
Yeah, because you're using it. It's like a special event, and it reminds me of something that like Adelian has said before in terms of these. Shout out Adelian, by the way. Some of these events that you have, it's no different. Like you go somewhere, you may take the time out to go somewhere and play the event, and then obviously you have your free experience, and then it's no different to like if you let's say if you compare it to like going to a concert or going to like a rave or something, and like you sort of like you pay a little bit, to try and enhance your experience and whatnot. Like there's nothing wrong with that, but where people have to constantly spend money with all these, like if they had less events and they tailored them a bit better and managed them a bit better, where you could farm more resources to then spend on this day, people wouldn't need to have like untold time off work every weekend, because they'll be like, right, it's the GMAX I want, but I can only do 2 of them. So they think there's no point in me having the time off work. Like, what's the point in having the time off work, right? If you want to do 3 hours, for some people, your shifts are going to be longer than that. You might have to give up the whole morning, maybe only be able to work evening. That might not even be an option for the sake of 1 hour, because that's all you can afford and justify doing 1 hour worth of battles. Like, it is stupid. Yeah. You have to, like you said, make people's time mean something. And obviously the community ambassador program is great in terms of the social aspect and stuff like that. But, truth be told, I'm just going to throw it like, I'm just going to flip it on its head. Some people don't give a shit about that. Like, some people don't care about the aspect. They like it in some regards and to some degree, but they want to grind the event. They want to do 3 hours worth of things in 3 hours, but they can't always do that because the majority of the player base is, either free to play or, they can't justify spending the money, even if they're not free to play. Like, you get some people that are free to play and some people that spend a little bit here and there depending on events. But yeah, they just need to make it more accessible to all sort of walks of life that play the game. And obviously the main one is obviously free to play. So they need to make it so more free to... How do you encourage more people to play the game if they come... I know someone, a local, that come into the game... They played the game during COVID, then they stopped playing for like 2 years. They've now come back into... They've come back into playing a game. Obviously, a lot's changed. You've got Dynamax and GMAX battles now, and it's like, they struggle to do them, in the area they're in. Like, it's not, and I try and give them advice and say, right, just maybe invest your counters first. But like, you can only do so much, because if they spend all their max particles building stuff, they might not have them same max particles to do the Gigantamax battles. I was just saying, Josh, I had like a local come back into the game after 2 years, and it's more like what they're struggling to do these. Like, naturally, the first step is you have to invest your MP into counters, but then that same MP they're investing, it means that they haven't really got any MP to save up. And what would you like? This is a good question, and feel free to answer in the chat if you're watching back, just to get some activity going. Or feel free to comment if you're listening back. But what do you feel like the best investment of your max particles is if you're just starting out? Do you feel like people should invest in counters so they can be more of an aid and an asset to the battle? Or do you feel like they should save up and then when it comes to the actual Gigantamax or the Dynamax battle weekends, they should save up and then they have X amount of MP to be carried, essentially? Do you feel like people should wait for the big events or they should invest so that they're ready for the big events?
I think that's a very broad question.
Oh, yes.
I think it really depends on your local community.
Yeah.
So, for example, in my local community, to be fair, I always try and push. Try and kind of build whatever you can. It doesn't need to be
the most optimal. Yeah, it ain't got to be fucking the best for everything.
Super optimal. But if you're in a smaller community who maybe struggle, then you should invest in whatever you have to be more of a team player, like 100%. I don't think that's even a question, to be honest.
Yeah.
The whole point of, especially in GMAX, is to work together because it is like end game content.
Yeah.
You are going to get people who need more of a helping hand to do it. So you should definitely try to do what you can. But then on the other side, which I do in my local community, is I try to give like a fair amount of notice, and I write out like guides and be like, right, this is what you should be putting your money into. This is not money, your resources. Like your resources should go into here and here to help for this event here. Don't get me wrong, I know everyone doesn't see it like that, but stuff like that all helps. Like at the end of the day, we all need to help each other to succeed in the game and get out what we want from it and make it worth our time and effort and money. So for me, I'm always going to say like max out, not max out, power up what you have, because it makes more difference than people think.
Yeah.
I think people just don't really understand that from a local aspect. Like end game content, there's a reason why these battles take so many people and why it's such tough content, and it's not doable if everyone's bringing like Wooloos
and sandbagging,
for example. But if you are genuinely like unable to do it, you don't have the time to do Dynamax stuff, whatever, all you can do is collect your particles on the way home. That's understandable as well, But, I think there's a difference from trying to be involved in helping the community and just being a bit lazy about it, as in I've got the resources, but I don't want to spend them, I think it goes both ways. That's why it's quite an open question, But like I said, for me personally, that's what I always try and do. I always try and kind of guide my locals in the right direction in terms of this is what we need. This is what you should do in order for this to happen, for definite. But it's difficult. It's difficult because let's be honest. The big problem is you have to make, if you're a community
man,
I guess like higher up, I guess like you're an admin or whatever. You have to make the people care about it as much as you, right? To get any kind of like success from it,
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to get anything from it.
This is what I feel like is a big problem. Like not just like around, my local area, but I've seen it in other communities. It's the wrong sort of people that are like trying to be the face, and they're like, if they don't like an event, and I'm pretty sure like these are the same sorts of people that go for community ambassador, which is really weird as well. If they don't like an event, so like let's use Jangma-O Community Day as an example. The Dragon Community Days are supposed to be the best community day of the year. Like technically, they're supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be because dragon spawns are not very common. It's supposed to be like the best community day, apart from maybe the recap. Some people may see the December one just the best one, but because they got everything for the past couple of years. It's supposed to be the best community day, very rare, and if you've got locals, people that are sort of prominent figures within their local area saying, I'm not really, it's not really worth doing, The shiny's already been released and stuff. It's not a new shiny
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's like, how is that going to encourage people to play? Like, you sort of have to try and find. I always try and find a positive spin, or I always try and find. Maybe because I'm just someone who will play the events regardless and dedicate more time to this hobby than other people. But I always feel like I try and always see the upside of doing the event. So I'm like, right, Jangmo, shiny was already released in eggs. I already got multiple of it shiny before the com day. Okay, the shiny isn't the main incentive here. I look at it and it's like, okay, I've already got the platinum medal for the dragon badge. That's not the main incentive for me here. It's like, okay, what's new? You look at it, it's the move. Clanging Scales is supposed to be a good move, and trying to explain that to people, like, it could be worth trying to get a good one for, because there are you'd be sorry, there's so many locals that want to try and get into PvP, and you try and explain to them what sort of the first steps are. It's basically, if I had to give anyone advice of getting into PvP, play the com days, play the spotlight hours, because they are very they are very specific, tailored events to one mon or one family or one species of mon, and that mon could be great, in a couple seasons. You don't want to be, you want to try and stay ahead of the curve. That's what I try and push to people. It falls on deaf ears because people are like, oh, it's not good for anything. Oh, it's already had a shiny. Like, they don't understand it. And listen, you can only say so much, to the point where if people aren't listening, what's the point? And this is what I was going to ask you. When you do write-ups to try and guide people in the sense of how best to invest their max particles, or what to do in the build up to an event in terms of like resource farming, I'm just going to put it out there. Like, I can't think of how else to say it. Do people actually read it? Like, it might sound like a really stupid question, but like, are you?
No, mate, it's not a stupid question at all. The blunt answer is no.
Yeah.
No, but the way that we see it is you can then turn on and say,
well, you can't complain because we've tried to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you.
We have tried to help.
I get you.
But no doesn't apply to everyone. But some people do. Some people do their own research, which is fucking great.
I love that.
It's basically just a way to then be like, well, you can't say that you've not had the kind of heads up that you maybe need. So like for. Which, to be fair, is a good segment. Leading into the big event at the end of the month, the GMAX weekend. So hang on, I'm just trying to find my post. So I put my post up.
Ignore me, I'm just doing a shot. Should we do a shot? Let's do a shot, mate. Let's do a shot.
I put that up. When did I put that? I put that up on the 22nd of July, so a month in advance.
Yeah.
And I literally said, and I quote, to prepare, please level up your Zacian and Zamazenta. I can't begin to explain how crucial this is. It works alongside the Go Pass to make the attacks stronger, thus easier for us to take down the battles.
It's good as well because you don't have to invest MP in it, which is good for when you get the research in the run up to like Butterfree, for instance, and you had it in the build up to Lapras and all them, where you have to unlock a max move, and sometimes it's kind of double edged because it's like, well, I want the MP, but I have to spend MP to get MP. Zamazenta and Zacian are great investments because you don't have to invest any max particles into them, and you can claim max particles from your research from just spending candies and XL candies, obviously, if you want to max out.
Just hold them.
Yeah, it's such a great investment, and that's why I think I've got 3 of each, and I know there's no need for me to build more, but I might just very well do it. I'm bad for it. Like, they're good investments.
But they're too fair. Like,
they're good for PvE as well. Nice, you can have 6.
It's quite enough. It's quite a nice segment as to what you just said. I think a lot of it goes into. I hate saying this. It sounds so fucking horrible, but like the more sort of hardcore players, like.
It's fair to say we call people casual players. So what's the opposite of that?
But we do kind of need to be proactive in helping our communities do well and people around us, get the things that they want for their, So for me, obviously, I've said this to you before. My big thing is, if people make the effort to come out and play an event, like I want them, I want them to get what they want, So for the cast, we'll leak some little spoilers. So generally speaking, for a really really fucking big event, like a GMAX day, I will message, and someone will back me up on this. I will message basically all of what I would call like my core group, and I'll be like, look, like to do this, like we need to do this to help people get this, because I don't want people to waste their time and effort coming out. It's because then it puts them off doing that in the future. They're less likely to do that, and without it, the game fucking dies. You kind of need people who are proactive, and it sounds bad, but the people that I message because I know they're willing to invest money into the game as well as time.
Yeah.
And we have specifically in Woolwich, we've got a dad and his son that come along and join us, and it was, what event was it? Was it Global Go Fest where they had all the starters? The gala starters.
GMAX. Yeah,
GMAX.
I was going to give an anecdotal example. I remember Josh specifically, saying to people, right, there's a Gigantamax Inteleon here. Obviously, not everyone may have got one because of the way that they've released. Obviously, they've released them, in line with each Go Fest in Osaka, New York, or New Jersey, was based in New York, and then Paris. Yeah. So not everyone might have one. It'd be great if we could get some numbers for this. And it's like, yeah, all right. I weren't doing anything else anyway. We were just standing there waiting for raid reset. Like you said, it's nice to, because then if you're going to do it anyway, if you're someone, like you said, you don't mind spending the money, it's just another grind for you. It's just another thing to do. But on the other side, you've helped someone. It's nice. Like there's so many benefits to it.
It's the point. It's the point. And again, I've got to talk from my own personal experiences, but like here where we are, like, we're really trying to like drive the community forward, and we understand where we are, like location wise, but I like to think we're one of the more active groups in London, and we get a lot of people who do come along and they have a good time, and to me that is what really matters. It doesn't fucking matter what you get in game, but if you can help a dad and his son get their first GMAXs that they wanted, and they didn't think they'd get it, then it's a win. You know what I mean? It's a win all round. You know?
Would you? I'm gonna keep digging on this a little bit. Would you? If you're in a position where, this is like a personal thing for you. There's no right or wrong answers, because whatever you feel, and again, like I said before, people are welcome to have their own opinions. These are just ours. Would you be willing to help people get what they want at compromise for your own gameplay?
What do you mean?
As in, right, let's say you're focused, let's say like the Origin raid weekend is coming up next weekend, it's raid day, and you obviously want to do like a lot, like quickly, but then there's someone that's a bit behind, and they've rocked up kind of late, and it's just like two of them, it's not enough to do it. Would you keep going with the group that's going ahead and doing as many as you can, or would you stop? Would you step away and help them?
Yeah, I'd step away and help 100%. 100%.
See, we need more people like that.
But then to be fair, I think in our community I like to think we do it in quite a good way. Depending on how many people we have, we sometimes split into like a faster group and a slow group. And if not, then we kind of say, well, like if you've missed this one, then join the next one. And I think as long as you're making it not spiteful or sound like demeaning, then it's fine, it works. But I think especially if if these are new people, people that maybe don't get to come out so often, like if you're not helping them, then like you're kind of part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because, like a lot of it is purely based on the community and who you know within the community. And, if you are active, you kind of remember faces and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, you kind of have that conversation of, where you been? I've not seen you in ages. And, I'm super busy, this, that, the other personal stuff, whatever. And then if you then turn around and go, oh, okay, cool, see you later. Like, it's just a bit shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's no need to be like that, But then, this is what we always say, stuff always comes back. I feel like for myself, I've kind of achieved everything in the game that I want.
Yeah.
Like to proactively achieve. So, sacrificing 5-10 minutes of my time to help make other people like happy, but they maybe don't have that same privilege of free time as I do, then like it's cool, like it's fine, it's not a problem,
No, that's fair enough, because I know that, in some cases it's very hard to obviously find that sort of happy medium and that balance between people that may only want to do a handful because that's all they can afford or that's all they plan on want to do anyway, and then people that want to do more. So, yeah, it's always interesting to hear opinions on it.
But the thing is, I think it needs to. It works both ways, right? Like, I think. I don't know, how can I like describe it? Like, you shouldn't. If you're like a casual local player, you shouldn't turn up and expect help
to be carried. That's what I was
there should be a level.
Yeah.
There should be a level of like sincerity behind it.
Yeah.
And then I think if you're a hardcore player, and if you're a hardcore player, the reality is you probably know most faces in your community, right?
Yeah.
I would like to think. If you then can't stop your ridiculous grind for 5 minutes to help someone who you know of, then like, that's a bit shit,
Yeah.
But if they rock up with an attitude, like an entitled attitude, then maybe not. Maybe you just got that like, do my own thing.
Yeah.
It works both ways, right? It works both ways. To be honest, but should we move on to our next topic? The big one. The big one.
I'll let you. Do you want to preface it, seeing as you feel so deeply about it?
For anyone who's been living under a rock, we have arguably the biggest weekend in Pokemon GO history coming up. The Go Fest finale. A weekend of getting arguably one of the best neutral attackers in the game.
You see, I was ready for that in-betweeners clip. A weekend of sun, sea.
Sex.
Yeah. That's what I'm ready for. Fanny minge and tits.
Yeah, so we're gonna have we're gonna get Eternatus, arguably one of the best attackers in the game. Really cool from the main game series, as well as every single. Sorry.
You good, boss?
Every single. Mate, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just enjoying it.
Someone's hit you with a sleep. Like, we need to give him an antidote, man.
Sleep.
Shout out Travis Scott. No, don't shout out Travis Scott.
Yeah. But so we're gonna get Eternatus, and then we're gonna get every single Gigantamax Mon ever that has ever been released in Go. Massive weekend in Go, alongside the Crown forms again making a return.
Yeah.
It's just a big fucking weekend. Big weekend. But like it's arguably the biggest cash cow we've ever seen in Pokemon Go. Well, actually, no. Sorry, there is no probably. It is the biggest cash cow we've ever seen.
Yeah.
You get unlimited remote raids, including Gmax, right? Which Gmax are significantly more expensive to do than
because they cost
regular
MP.
raids.
Well, it's not unlimited for GMAX.
You know,
It's you get, what is it, 999,999.
99,000.
Yeah.
It is the fucking biggest cash cow we've ever seen, and the same shit again. We're really not seeing anything that is kind of enticing about it to free to play players outside of very few free ones.
Yeah.
Let me just pull up a graphic here real quick, just to make sure we don't spread no misinformation. Where are we?
Where are you? Ah!
Wait, that's crazy. Man. That's fucking crazy, man.
Mate,
insane,
did I say that?
That's crazy.
Did I? I don't think I told you. You know when big man Cody won't speak too much about his factions debut, but when he went outside to do it, me and Quack obviously went outside as well, and we were looking for everyone, and me and Quack were like, "Where are you?" And then this girl on the bench this girl on the back fucking said it back, and we're just like, "Hey, yo." Fucking
Wait, that's insane to happen, by the way. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, learn more. Okay, so let me just.
They've literally, it's not like probably, there's no if, buts, maybes, we speak in absolutes. It literally is being marketed as the biggest week. That's with the Dark Skies event and all the Dynamax stuff, because there's no Max Monday on the 18th. So it's the biggest week, not just the biggest event, the biggest week in Pokemon Go is coming. Biggest for what? Biggest for profits, biggest for money 100%, spent.
100%. And the thing is, they're not stupid, right? They know what they're doing. So under the event bonuses tab, the first one is, which is actually hilarious because it means they could do this all the time. They're going to be activating additional power spots, which, means there's more spawning. Power spots will refresh more frequently, which it will be like every half an hour. Max particle collection limit will increase, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is...
Sorry, I just shut it down.
2,400, maybe. I don't know if that's right. Someone might have to correct me on that.
We'll get a VAR. So someone check. Yeah.
2-time catch candy for catching Pokemon. 2-time candy XL for catching Pokemon. And there's no remote raid limit. Saturday 23rd to Sunday.
So how many times have we had unlimited remote raids this year? Is that second? This is the second time. Third. Second, third?
No, it's not. This will be third time, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go
Tour. Go Fest.
Global Go Fest. And,
So this... Fucking hell, man. It's such a quick turnaround from the last one.
Yeah.
Not that we did a lot of unlimited anyway, because we're,
but we smashed them in person.
We're in person.
But, so, sounds good. So, you're going to get Lapras, Rillaboom, Snorlax, Charizard, Gengar, Butterfree, Inteleon, Kingler, Venusaur, Blastoise, Machamp, Cinderace, and Toxtricity.
Just before you keep going, are there any that you're particularly excited for?
Toxtricity.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of people, because of the way it was released in terms of it was during Go Wild area, which, it is what it says on the tin. Difficult. That was a wild event. There was so much going on. And it was so early in the sort of Gigantamax, Dynamax arc of the game where people didn't I was lucky, I got a Hundo Dynamax Excadrill on the day, built it straight away, bosh, went straight in. But now that they've released more stuff over time, hopefully there should be, and people have invested in counters, it should be a lot more of an enjoyable experience to do that.
Yeah, because we were in Marbella for it. And to be fair, it's kind of like full circle, we even said this, without our group being there, they would not have got them done.
Who's they? What, the Spanish locals?
Yeah, the Marbella locals, yeah. Because, Dodie, if you're still in chat, I think we were trying to do them with 8 accounts, if I'm correct, and we were, just narrowly failing. I think, maybe 8? Me, Dodie, Elian, Mike, Adelian, Joe.
Joe counts as 2. I'm sorry, Joe.
Well, that's toxic, man. That's so
Sorry,
toxic.
Joe's excited for the Snorlax, isn't it?
But yeah, anyway, Toxtricity is a fucking great G-Max, and I don't have any good ones. Literally, I just don't. Yeah, so very excited for that. But guys, right? Let's break it down here, because this is where the big monetization problem comes in. So
big.
So for anyone listening back, I've based this purely on numbers, based on my local community and my experience within Pokemon Go and doing Gmax stuff. So where is it? 'Cause I've got it written down here.
Calculations.
Where are you? So I think in Woolwich we will be able to do 70 Gmax battles per day, right? Pretty good turnover, I think, right, for Gmax endgame content. I always do premium rewards. Always those rare candy XLs.
You have to. There's no reason to upgrade your rewards on Dynamax when you can do it on Gmax.
Assuming we're going to be grinding and we're going to want to help locals out, we're probably going to use the max mushrooms to maximize our damage output. Across 2 days, that will set you back 56,400 coins. And that's before you do any station, Zamazenta's, remote raids.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking money. That is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's four big bundles, 4 big hits.
Yeah.
5 big booms.
£400, like nearly $500. And before anyone says, "Oh yeah, but it's optional," it's not optional. It's not. The entire event is marketed purely around Gmax. There's little to no talk about spawns, research. It's it's battles. It's fucking battles. Gmax raids. That's a serious amount of money. Serious. And that's based on that is based on my community. Obviously, I know that's kind of like a high number. But I think regardless of your community, that's a lot of fucking money.
half it at the same time. If you do half as much as what Josh is saying that he'll do in what I'll be there as well. Spoiler, we're gonna be there. Half as much as we'll do in Woolwich. That's still 200. That's peas. That's peas, man.
Mate, stupid, man. Like,
that is bread.
Mate, that's still fucking
for a weekend.
26 coins for a weekend. £200 to play a Go Fest finale,
mate. And if someone gets the Shundo, fucks, man. That's another 200 at your lot.
That's fucking crazy. Like, and even if you take out, doing premium rewards, max mushrooms, it's still a lot of fucking money, bro. That's a lot.
I have a suggestion. It's sort of just a spur of the moment. It's not anything pre-planned. It's sort of just maybe a light bulb moment. So feel free to shut it down, or if people think I'm being stupid, just tell me in it. But I think for something like this, where everything is on offer in terms of you got the Dynamax earlier in the week, we'll forget about that. This is strictly Gmax. Everything's on offer in terms of Gigantamax. I think they should implement a way in that you're able, when I say I mean like it's accessible for you to do, time permitting and everything. I think you should make it so you're able to at least do, you get like a free 800 per hour, so you're able to do one of each. So you're able to at least get one of each thing, because then it's like, for some people, it's just dex entries they're after. They're not gonna, get a dex entry.
Mate, the thing is, I would completely agree with that. Completely. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go.
I would completely agree with you, like 100%. I do then also see the issue with it of people maybe don't want to dedicate the full, because what is it, 10 till 6?
Well, it's 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. on both days.
Yeah, so maybe, locals maybe won't get the time slot they want, and then they'll go, oh, blah, blah, they had the one that I didn't want on when I could play.
That's the issue when there's so much on offer. It's like, you sort of, it's like a buffet. Like you kind of have to pick and choose. Yeah,
well, to be fair, this is what I was trying to say. So you've basically said it. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right? So...
It's literally a buffet.
So they've already said... Yeah, so they've said that the majority of stops are going to be Eternatus.
Yeah.
Which based on the data mines, like that shit is going to be expensive to max out, like hella fucking expensive, and that's including the quote unquote extra drops that we're getting
Yeah.
from it. That's not an easy feat. Getting a level 50 Eternatus is could potentially be one of the biggest fucking flexes in the entire game, right? Which is kind of mad, to be fair, to think about.
Yeah.
But it's you're asking a lot from people. 8 hours each day for a weekend, 16 hours. There's only 48 hours in a weekend. People have got work and house stuff to do. You're asking a lot, right?
Lock me in, man.
And and that's before they maybe get the opportunity to sneak out for an hour. You're still not getting a lot done in your time. Do you know what I mean? So it's but then this is the problem where it works both ways. It's do they then reduce cost for remote raiding this stuff over the weekend? They could, but then no, because then people just be lazy and not
just
fucking
remote,
go
and then you'll lose
right?
the sort of in-person aspect that you want to push.
It's tricky, but I do agree with you in that aspect. It would be nice because you are then getting more freebies that aren't freebies because you have technically paid to get there, based on playing GoFest and blah blah blah, whatever, but yeah, it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money, and especially for our core group that are going to be smashing that weekend. Mate, you think realistically, if we were all to do that, max mushrooms, premium rewards, which I know at least a handful of us will be, bro, you're talking a few £1,000.
Yeah, I'm running out of fingers to do the counting. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's just from us lot. You're talking a few bags there, and that's one really small community. It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money, and again, we're not seeing a lot of kind of things to kind of entice you into doing that. It's just. It would be interesting to see them do some kind of box offer, a bundle offer.
I was thinking that as well, yeah, because they're going to have the time research where you can get Candy XL, Max Particles and all that, but it'll be nice to, I say it would be nice, you still fucking have to pay for it, don't you? But at least it will offset some of the potential cost and, it will reduce the damage, it'll be just damage limitation in that sense because... Like we've said, this could do a number on some. But then again, their argument is oh, you don't have to. It's well, what choice do we have? It's either it's like I said, that's what you can't even do one of each. It's right, if we start at 10, and do completely free to play, we won't make it to Snorlax. And the same way the next day, you don't make it to Charizard after you've spurged all your resources that you have on Lapras and Rillaboom.
See, but then this is where they've gone wrong, right? Because Eternatus is new. Are people going to be super interested in the other Gmax? Realistically, unless they've, unless they haven't got one. But then the problem
I just do as I'm told. You'll get people being I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I need to do toxicity, or I don't want to do anything but Eternatus. I get it. You'll get people that have obviously their own sort of split. Personal agendas, which happens. We all have agendas. It's fine, but but that's the way it's been set up. Obviously, where you need sort of big groups for these things. It could work against people.
But then this is why, on my announcement in the campfire, I've specified that this is a heavy grind, a heavy fucking grind, and don't get me wrong. I know it's optional and whatnot, but this is why I'm grateful for our core group because we're kind of going to do them anyway.
We're going to do it anyway.
We're just gonna work our way through what's available. Basically, we're probably going to prioritize the Eternatus and if there's some Gmax in between, then cool. But I know most of our core group, we're gonna want to max out our Eternatus and
Yeah.
fucking flex it a little bit,
I guess it's quite
yeah,
nice that they've put the Gmax Tox on the last hour of both. So if
well,
people are only able to get out later.
I mean, straight up, like if people like actively request to be like, look, like I didn't get like Machamp, for example, can we do one? Then I'll be like, right, we're gonna do a Machamp, right?
Yeah.
I think outside of that, like for me, Toxtricity is what I will be grinding. Like for those 2 set hours on both days, like that's where I'm gonna be like, right, we're not doing Eternatus, we're doing Toxtricities, like.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good attacker. It's so good.
You have to think like in terms of so Lapras obviously came out a while ago, and we've also had recently with the Water Festival event as well. Snorlax was a very recent one, and this is just like obviously if you've picked up the game and started playing this week, it's like well also welcome to the madhouse, and second of all, obviously it's all going to be new for you, so you're not too bothered like oh shit I've missed this. Like you've missed a lot, mate. In the fucking 9 years of the game. Gengar, I wouldn't mind doing, I'm just speaking personally, I wouldn't mind doing some Gengars, but then for a lot of people, they may think, oh, I'd done Gengar when it came out, there's no need. But stuff like, I wouldn't put Gengar in the same category as Snorlax and Lapras. Lapras, Snorlax, Machamp, I'm just going through them now. Rillaboom, Butterfree is obviously, in 2 days at the time of filming this. Kingler, Cinderace, they're all quite recent. I feel like everything, even the Kanto starters weren't too long ago, but I feel like, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Some people could be like, oh, well, I miss Kingler, so I need to do that. But yeah, Gmax, Toxtricity, and Gengar would probably be the ones that, like, I would like to do those, but then I'll just do any. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not doing a Charizard. I'm going to do it, man. I'm there. I've taken the time out and the money out and the time off work. I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I'm just getting it done.
Yeah, it's just... But, again, it's just the problem with the cash cow, like...
It is, yeah.
Like, the whole cash cow, like... And, like, the fact that they're putting on extra power spots, to me, it just shows that, like, they fucking know what they're doing, right? Do you know what I mean?
And like you said earlier, they are capable of doing this. Like
because we mentioned this about GoFest in Paris. Like there was no like sponsored power spots or like anything like that.
No.
But they clearly proved that
it can be
done. They can do it. It's when within they're gonna fucking make a shed load from it, right?
It's within their coding capabilities to be able to do it. Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen. But for anyone who is maybe on a budget and maybe can't make it out, what I would say to all of you guys is, first of all, make sure your friends list is stocked up on friends. So if you have to do remotes, make sure the options there. Use stuff like Twitter, use Reddit. Reddit is really underrated. Can you do Gmax on Pokegenie?
I've not used Pokegenie personally. I'm pretty sure you can. If you can put a remote raid pass on it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. Like it should be. I don't even have Pokegenie on my phone, and it's not even on one of them.
Mate, Pokegenie is so underrated. Like
there are so many apps I don't use on my phone. Like it's asking me I need to download Pocket again because I've not played it in so long. Like there are so many apps on my phone it just deletes when I don't use it. I need to check Uber. Is Uber still alright? Uber's still on there because I don't use apps for ages and it just removes them from my phone or just uninstalls them just to save some storage. But
okay. So you can you can do Gmax.
It'd be weird if you couldn't. Yeah.
But yeah, just use resources like that. If you're not going to be able to,
if you're on a budget or the community, you're in a rural area, then obviously remoting is not ideal compared to in person because you're spending an extra resource. But if it's the difference between being able to get a Dex entry Charizard or a Dex entry Inteleon or just being able to do some, I always see it some's better than none at the end of the day. Otherwise, you may need these to be able to then, when it comes to maybe you're in a position where you can do some in person. It's like, oh, I'm glad I did those Rillabooms because they helped me do this, and I'm glad I did this Machamp because it's going to help me do this when it comes out. Like, just a longevity thing. Like, that's why I always try and push to people, anyone that will listen, you know, on Twitch, or just anyone that I speak to locally, or people that I've met at, you know, had the privilege of meeting at global events and whatnot. Just longevity, man. I said it earlier. I said it again. Just try and stay ahead of the curve, you know. And I always felt like in the past, Niantic were quite good at, you know, the stuff that they release. There's a reason they release it, because you need it for this. But then, like, you know, I think since like April, May of this year, it's like, they could have easily done Machamp before Snorlax, so people didn't have to invest all their stuff necessarily in Dynamax Machamp. And then they knew what they were doing, because they even had Machamp Comedy Classic around the same time as G-Max Machamp. So it's like, all you had to do is just fight us first to be able to take on the normal. That's all it is. Like, just small things like that. That's maybe me being a little pedantic, but I just feel like for a lot of people that might have been a bit more resource friendly, and it would have made sense in my eyes. Yeah,
definitely. But, you know, I think another tip that I have, and it sounds really silly to say, but people just don't do it. Invite people off your friends list.
It's free. It's free. We moan about spending money. Do the things that are free.
Right. But first of all, pay attention. You know, like, if you've got a big group around you, the chances are, you know,
you don't want anyone to miss out anyway.
But, you know, if you are in a position, you know, maybe late in the day, you know, where the group's kind of doing a little bit, send invites out, man. Like you can invite 10 people. You know, if you're one of those people join,
that's one more person that
but, you know, like that one person joining could be the difference between winning and losing, right?
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, and as me and Thomas spoke about before, well, literally this same episode, like, make sure you're kind of like in the days in the run up to it, kind of use your resources wisely. I will personally down this bridge, right? In the Monday to Friday, the Dynamax shit, don't do none of them. They're a waste. They are a waste.
Are you on about specifically this Go Fest, the Dark Skies?
The finale, right. They're all a fucking waste, in my opinion, right? Like, realistically speaking, Zeke and Zamazenta are within the top 5 attackers for basically every G-Max out there.
Yeah.
And then the G-Maxes you're going to get are going to be better than any of the Dynamaxes you're going to get. So, you know, power up your Zeke and Zamazentas, you know, and kind of stack your particles in the lead up to it, so you can maximize, you know, your free battles, right?
There's like no need to do any Dynamax like in that way, like Josh said, because like say Dynamax, like all the starters, like Squirtle, Charmander, and the stuff, you want to do the G-Max anyway. You start looking at some of the stuff like where are we looking? So, like, Beldon, for instance. Now, before Doggos, having a Dynamax Metagross, I would have said would have been a good investment. Now that you have Doggos, if you've got one already, I'm not saying bin it, that's a bit excessive, but, there's no need to do them. The Latties we've just had, so, you know, and they're legendary, so, you know, if I can give a bit of advice, if you want to do the Dynamax, you know, if you're not bothered because you're going to do the G-Max anyway, and there are Dynamax you want to do the legendary ones, like... You get more out of it, like, in terms of Candy XL, because I appreciate personally that both the Latties can be quite hard to find people to do. I personally, when I was playing over lockdown and I was in Braintree, I found it hard to get people to do the Latties. The only time I've been able to do them, apart from this Dynamax, is when they have the Megas. And, you know, I've got invites to them from people. You know, I'm fortunate I've had people from other countries on my friends list. So people will send me invites. They're quite hard to get numbers for. But, yeah, a rule of thumb, if you're trying to save up as much as you can for the Gigantamax to offset a bit of the cost, if you're planning on playing the entirety of both days over that weekend, then don't bother with D-Max. They ain't even put a max. Literally, it's nothing's more telling than the fact that there's not even a max Monday for it. You know, the focus is clearly on the Gigant, as it should be for a max finale, but obviously the way that they've gone about it, as we've alluded to in this episode, and we'll probably keep speaking about in the build-up to it, is obviously very questionable.
Yeah, and also, Joe, if you're still here, click this shit, right? Make sure
I
you
don't
are
think Joe's here.
redeeming your
Oh.
research code from the redemption site
Yeah.
and the code is GoFestMax. You will get a free encounter of either Gmax, Inteleon, Rillaboom, Cinderace. Trust me, if you do not have a single Gmax in your account, having that one singular one will make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Like I said, the code is GoFestMax. Use it, it's free, it will not cost you anything, and you will get a free Gmax encounter, right?
It's in chat now.
And these are all little things that will help out, and help you maybe, cross the line of getting your first Gmax done. You maybe not done one for because, I'm still seeing people online that have never ever done a Gmax. They've never been able to complete one.
That's really. I'll say that's really sad. That makes it sound like I'm deeming. It is. It's unfortunate. Like I feel like everyone should have had the opportunity to at least do one.
Yeah, and so I know for me, like personally, like my plan is on the week of Global Go Fest, I'm gonna put out a tweet and be like, I'm looking to add people who haven't done a Gmax before.
Oh, for the finale or
yeah. And then I will basically like kind of invite them to our battles, like as the numbers start to sort of dwindle and they can kind of jump in, because mate, like I said, to invite people costs us nothing,
Bro's taking Gmax cherries, crazy.
Yeah, it's and it's going to help people out. Just be wary of that kind of stuff. And if you're in a position where you're going to an area where you're going to get a lot done, maybe don't invite the hardcore players that have already done hundreds of them.
Yeah, you don't want them to displace members of your local area or community that have taken the time out to actually come out and do this event with others. Like, you don't want to. I like that they've introduced remoting for Gmax because I think the best thing for it is that when it dwindles out and the free to play go home or the casual players go home or people go to work and their other lifetime commitments, it's nice to be able to keep going if you want to and not feel like you have to stop at 4 o'clock because people have all gone home.
Which is inevitably what we're going to do that weekend.
Oh yeah.
When you and Joe come down and grind out. But if at the end of the day, I log on to Twitter and I get a message saying thanks for helping me get this or get that, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy that we've been able to play how we wanted to play, but if we're then able to then help others who are less fortunate than us, they don't have a community, they maybe don't have money to kind of waste on failing, the Gmax raids, then to me it's worth it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also good that I know we didn't speak about the Dark Skies event a lot. We sort of alluded to the Zacian and Zamazenta raids that are going to be there over the weekend. But I think it's nice in a way that they've done some raid hours in the build up to it, so you can get a Zacian and Zamazenta. So if you are someone that's picked up the game recently, or you've not had the privilege of going to an in-person Go Fest, or you weren't able to play global Go Fest because of work or whatever other commitments you may have going on, you're at least able to get them, and then you can sort of go from there in terms of building up your arsenal of doggos. So I think it's nice that they've done that in a sense. I forget that there's actual because I think there's timed research during the week as well that gives you encounters to the things, the Galare starters, but you can also get candy.
Is it?
I'm just looking at the event bonuses for Dark Skies. The trainers will receive the following bonuses between midnight and 11:59 p.m. local time on event days. So that will be the 18th to the 23rd. More power stops will be than usual be active. Power stops will refresh more frequently. Max particle collection limit will increase, and then that's when the remote raid limit is increased to 30. So that's literally just for those 4 days. But I think there's some time. There's some timed research as well.
Also, guys, don't do 30 remote Dynamax battles. For the love of all things good and holy, please don't. Just don't do it. You are literally throwing your money down the drain for nothing.
To be honest, I love it when they do not. When I say I don't love it when locals do that. I love it when they increase the remote raid limit a little bit, because then I just do 5 stars. I'll do the 5. It's just more 5 stars.
Yeah.
So when they've increased the limit before, like when they increased the limit for they did increase the limit for latties, but when latties, it's like you've got 10 available. I am not remoting it. I think I remoted one Dynamax to help, and it was from people that were in my local area, but I just really couldn't be asked to go and walk. So I helped them, and there's only 4 people anyway, so it was like, it wasn't just like, oh, if I didn't do it, it wasn't like if I didn't do it, they would have got it done anyway. They needed me to do it, so I helped. Yeah, it's one of them where I just do the 5 stars and whatnot. But yeah, like Josh said, remoting and doing Dynamax in the build up to a big Gmax event is the little. You can't complain then, because that's your own sort of poor planning. We've got all the details out here. There'll be community ambassadors on your campfires trying to show you all the key dates where you're meeting. Like if you're fortunate enough to have those sort of foundations set up. But all the information is on the blog post, so, in the build-up to it, obviously you prepare in terms of your resources, coins, maybe closer to the time we do an event prep guide, but I feel like by now, a lot of it is the same stuff we've already said on previous episodes. It's just be diligent with your raid passes. If you've not got many raid passes and you really want as good Zacian or Zamazenta, or you don't have one, maybe don't spend them on Berizian or anything else. And the same with the Max Particles. Maybe don't do don't do a Kabuto or a Shuckle on your way back from work. Maybe save it, and if you're going to lose it, invest it into something to help you for the weekend, because then you've not lost it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the next raid bosses we've got?
So after Virizion, Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Lugia,
Ho-Oh.
And then, Ho-Oh.
And then it's obviously Zacian Zamazenta, and then after that is after obviously it's all said and done, is Necrozma,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, I think you can be quite content not doing any 5-star raids for the next
we had Shadow Ho-Oh. We had Shadow Ho-Oh in January, and Shadow Ho-Oh's worth it for some people. And Lugia's gonna come back. And to be honest, if there's one legendary, actually no, if there's 2 legendaries, Heatran being the other one, and another legendary that you can probably just not do, and your life will just be unaffected by it, Lugia and Heatran, just forget about them. There are better fire counters. There are better flyer counters. There are better psychic counters, Mewtwo. There are better steel counters, woof woof. Just don't fucking... Just be diligent. Don't waste it. But listen, if you were going to do it anyway, I'm not going to tell people how to play the game. If you want to do raid hour, because like Josh said, it's built into your sort of weekly routine and whatnot, and you're only going to do a few anyway, then mate, fucking go for it. But I don't want to hear that from anyone that's done that. I don't want to hear people coming and saying, "Oh, I weren't able to do this and that." I'm like, but you did Lugia and Ho-Oh raid hour, you dipshit. Save your passes. It's not like your green passes don't go anywhere. For some people, it might just feel like it's burning a hole in their wallet and they have to do them. Those are the people with problems, but it's how they want to play the game. So each to their own.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up nicely. I'd kind of run episode. It'd be nice, if we can kind of dissect this episode and maybe get some clips out and maybe get someone from the Pogo team to kind of see them and I don't know, maybe fucking
listen.
Contact us and just take some of our ideas on board. But at the end of the day, just because there is an option to spend on the game doesn't mean that you should. And don't feel pressured to. You should always play the game how you want to play. And I think, for me personally, I think the best piece of advice I would be is, even if you're not willing / want to spend money on the game, make sure you're still involved with your local community. Add them as friends, make lucky friends, because hey, they might be able to trade you one of the mons that they want, and you want.
That could be their shit shiny Zacian, crown form, or just normal Zacian. That could be your Shundo Zacian. It'd be nice to have one of those. Can't imagine anyone having that.
Yeah, so just kind of make sure you're still involved with your community, even if even if you're not in a position where, dropping like £200 on a weekend hobby, is feasible.
Man, you could go on holiday. Go on holiday for that much.
Yeah, for definitely, But yeah, just again, we say this all the time. Make sure you're just being kind to each other and helping each other out, and not being the kind of players that you dislike. Kind of make sure you're not being one of those, really.
Yeah, don't be a prick. And like we've said, and we've maybe not said for a while, it takes more of an effort to be, a cunt than it does to be a nice person. We've not said that for a while, but the message holds true.
Yeah, so don't be a cunt, innit? Yeah, just enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. And to everyone who will be playing the event, we hope you get everything you want from them, and enjoy your weekend.
Respectfully, we hope you do well.
Yeah, respectfully. Yeah, literally. Yeah, respectfully. Yeah, unreal, man.
All the cameo phrases. I said those.
Yeah, look at us, man. We're so back. Right, are we wrapping this up? Are we?
Yes.
So you got the old read ready.
Yeah.
Right, go on, Thomas, mate. Hit for an outro, mate. Go on.
All right, let's do it, guys. Appreciate you all. Season number 2, episode 24 of I Boozy.
23rd, 24.
Oh, the 24th, yeah. 24th episode. But appreciate all you guys, and if you guys are listening back, would really appreciate a like on the YouTube video when it goes up on there, little download on Spotify. I've seen that the plays we've been watching the numbers, we've seen that the plays the plays have been going up, so shout out Awesome Clint for banging us in his car.
Man,
that's crazy. That's crazy, banging us in his car.
Mate, shout out Tim, by the way, because I know Tim's in the bar. And he's watching this on his phone in the bar downstairs.
So I do it all the time, man. Get it up on the telly. But we appreciate all you guys that take the time out of your evenings to watch live, and then take the time out of your day to listen to us, whether it be on your commute to work or just whatever you might be doing. Just listening to me and Josh, which you could be doing anything, but you listen to us, so that's great. We're gonna raid a good friend of the channel, Kitty Devro. So. With that being said, Josh, I hope you have a good weekend.
Love, peace, guidance. Shout out all you, man. We love you all.
Shout out.
Enjoy the rest of your week. Hold.
I'll try. But guys, if you guys are doing Butterfree over the weekend, hope you have a good experience and a good time.
We hope you do.
Yeah, man. Respectfully, hope you have a good time.